Stream's up. Wow.
Oh, man.
Here we are. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That's right.
Yeah. Of course.
Another fantastic start, but it's great. What is up?
I guess at some point
honestly,
you just have to look at it and go, the ZV is not the best option for some things that they say it is. It's just, it has its limitations are there.
honestly,
right?
yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, the problems we've had with the ZV, God, the things that with the more troubleshooting we've done, a lot of it has been ZV live shows anyway.
Yeah, you know, it's true. I mean, they repeat
Yeah,
themselves.
shooting are like on-site shoots. It's great.
It's had its moments there too. Anyhow, hey, guess what I get to say?
You get to say 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it here in 5 seconds because I just want to. 5 seconds. I'm gonna go 10 seconds. How's that?
That's amazing.
God, the ZV. It is funny though. And I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Uno.
Hi everybody, welcome. Not Your Average Show. Mike here, Corey. We are with you today. It is April 6th. No, excuse me, May 6th. What the hell?
Thursday.
It's a Thursday, May 6th. That just how weird today's been already. And it is 2021. How is everybody doing out there today? Corey, how are you? What's going on, bro? How are you?
Fine, mostly.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm sure if you were here for the beginning of the show, you heard us talking about the ZV, which is my cam over here. And more battery problems with the ZV. Honestly, yeah, I mean, whatever.
So, okay, I'm going to go into it. The Sony ZV-1, right? We bought it as an alternate B-roll camera, and we bought it as kind of our follow camera to do, you know, some of our other events with. And honestly, when we use it in certain applications, it's a stunner as a camera. I mean, physically as a camera, when it's live streaming, it does a lot of good things. When it's on scene and for its point and shoot ability to cover 4K and shoot the things that we want, the ZV-1 is fantastic. I really couldn't say more about it. However, the difference is that when it comes to live streaming with the camera, it has a very, very strange USB connection to your computer to charge ability. So on occasion, off the USB micro connection, which is what it has, what it supports, doesn't support Type-C like the Panasonic Lumix GH5 that I have here. But the other thing is that one's running off a cam link, and I'm sure running off a cam link, the ZV would even be better. However, we bought it because it would possibly skip the set of having a cam link in the setup and into OBS. And it eats juice like batteries. It even when connected to USB connection, even when the computer's turned on, even when control of the PC is turned on, unless it has a very, very, very strong amount of power coming from a USB hub. And I mean, it's got to be almost to the point where that last port has to have like 5 amps of power coming through it, right? Is it 5 amps or 5 volts? Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's about the only way this thing stays alive as a live streamer for long periods of time. So we've gotten Anker 7-port hubs with a whole another setup on it that's got one very, very massively powerful USB port. We've done all these other things, and yet sometimes this camera just wakes up and goes, "Oh, my battery's dead."
It's like, hey, I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm done.
So, unfortunately, Corey uses that one in his office. The GH5 I use in mine because it's my camera and I love this camera and it's great, but I've got a dummy battery for it, so I've got a whole different style setup. So, and you might notice some visual quality differences because obviously the GH5 is a slightly different animal in that respect. But the ZV usually isn't that far behind. But tonight, Corey's got to go back to the old 720p or the old webcam. So we can bring you more content, right?
Moss content.
And for those of you that are probably wondering, yes, I'm representing one of my favorite race teams, Cadillac, tonight, because we're going to talk about some of that stuff that we hinted at the other night. What's going on with you, man? How's everything going?
Going okay, man. Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, I'm helping out a friend of the family putting in a pretty big solar farm, a bunch of solar panels, ground based. It's a 25 kilowatt array. So if you know much about arrays, it's pretty decent for a residential size. So um, yeah, that's about 48 panels. It's pretty big. So
Cool.
but it's good fun. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, me, think I'm just chilling today. Today was just work around the house stuff. Had to get
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
done.
exactly. Yeah.
Been busy. Been really busy on other stuff. But hey, there's that. So we didn't get a chance because we had to troubleshoot the camera and because we missed 8 o'clock wildly, which is, par for the course on the Not Your Average Show. We didn't even talk about the order. So what's the order we actually talked
Let's hit up
about?
that racing news first, man. Let's do it.
Okay, we could do that because so last night just was something that I was talking about, and we were glancing through information on Auto Week about batteries that were going to be out, solid state batteries out sooner or later, and something popped up that caught my eye, which is right up our alley, which is basically, and this one's also from IMSA on its site. And it's also the one from that we have here from Auto Week itself, which says basically Team Penske Porsche are joining forces for IMSA, WEC, and Le Mans beginning 2023. Now, here's the real cool part about this, right? And they show some sort of faint outline of what's going to be the new Porsche car here. The nice part about this is that basically Penske is dumping themselves back into the same arena that they teamed up with Porsche from the early 90s, and they're doing it with the LMDH cars beginning 2023. Now, these are the Le Mans prototype cars that are replacing the Daytona type, Daytona PDI or the Daytona prototype, whatever it was.
Okay.
Yeah, DPI. And these are going to be run in the WeatherTech series, the IMSA WeatherTech Supercar Championship as well, and the FIA World Endurance Championship, which means now for people who do or don't follow actually this type of racing or world endurance racing, okay, this is actually massive. And what it basically means is that you have teams that have used to be competitive at both Daytona and Le Mans. And if you could have a championship car that would actually take the Triple Crown, which was the 12 hours of Sebring, the 24 hours of Daytona, and the 24 hours of Le Mans, that was basically your either Toyota, your Mazda 747Bs, I think was that car that did it. A couple of 928Cs in the Porsche category, right?
962s, I think, did it maybe back in the day.
Right? We'd have to go back and look at, and we could be completely wrong about the cars that did or didn't do it. But I know the Nissan GTP was one of the cars that was, famous for doing stuff like that. Okay. So here's the deal. It's been a long time since you've seen a unified chassis slash engine slash manufacturer run both of these events. And this is almost on par with Ford versus Ferrari, right? Because if there's a guy that I want in my corner, and specifically a guy that I want in my corner to win, right? The guy that I want in that corner is going to be Roger Penske. He's 84 years old, but this man has done by far more winning in motorsports than most other owners, arguably than anybody else. Now, this other article that's on the actual IMSA website also says that he also took Porsche in the LMP2 class from 2006 to 2008 in the Porsche R Spider, often beating faster Le Mans prototype cars and the LMP1s. So, I mean, if you're excited about prototype racing, Corey, what do you think this puts in for the whole shebang for what 2023 is going to be like for those of us that like endurance racing and stuff like the Rolex?
Yeah, man. So having been into watching this, particularly IMSA and some of the FIA stuff and a lot of these endurance races, in my childhood and growing up, it's really cool seeing all the dynamics change over the years. And kind of as you mentioned, some of the people that you really want to keep track of are the big names that have teams that win or do quite well, regardless of what series they're in. Whether they're in just straight endurance or they're doing other stuff. And Penske's been around a while, and he, like you mentioned, he's somebody that's not that's somebody you'd want to be you'd want to have helping you out, set up stuff, look at setting up the cars and teams for future years, for future championships and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. And as the title says, Penske and Porsche joining forces.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, let's see it. But going right along with that too, remember the LMDH class is going to be a new class too. So there's still some things we're interested to see what kind of works out with that. But as it stands, and I think you as well, we're always a fan of the 24 hours at Daytona, obviously 24 hours at Le Mans, seeing the 12-hour at Sebring is always great. And again, having Porsche and
Penske.
Penske in there on the same team, but
Yeah.
then also to understand that in that new class, we're going to have other like Acura, Toyota, Peugeot, and Audi in there as well.
Sure. So
Those are big names as well. So I think it'll be exciting. That's what everybody wants out of racing as well, is to have it be exciting. And I think we're gonna see that.
So LMDH is basically Le Mans, Daytona, and it's called Hypercar. Okay, LMDH. That's going to be the top class, is what I'm seeing here on Wikipedia. That's what they're saying that it's going to be. Now, I think from some of the other rules that I think I've seen in here, I also, if it's my understanding, is there's also some things about these cars that they have to fall in with. There's going to be four different chassis, right? So that's number one. So the 4 chassis, I believe, let me see if I can pull this out of the article really quick. I believe there's going to be, well, let's see. It's got to be 2,200 pounds, based on an LMP, powered by at least a 500 kilowatt or 670 horsepower hybrid drivetrain. Okay, and that's some of the bases that they're going to go through. All right, so the other ones were, now I'm trying to find the chassis, because I think it's like... Dallara is in there as one of the chassis manufacturers. Who else is in here as a chassis manufacturer?
I don't. I
remember reading it, and now I can't find it. So there's going to be, so basically what you're going to have is you're going to have 4 different chassis, a baseline engine chassis kind of combination that you're going to put together, but what you skin the car at is going to be what you skin the car as, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting. It says hybrid drivetrain, so they're still letting the unless it says hybrid, so they're letting the electric and petrol or internal combustion come in there, and along with, I guess, energy capture, or no? Is that not a thing?
I don't see FIA now. Being that FIA is going to be part of the compliance and the overseeing of this, I would imagine that they will have something like that this time around. Oh, it's Dallara, Liger, Multimatic, and Oreca. Those are going to be the 4, right? All right. So, and they will be able to do what they want basically with their hybrids and how they set them up, however each manufacturer wants. Which, now look, if you're talking about racing, that's going to provide some pretty extreme racing for everybody around. Number one. Number two. I wonder where these guys are. I wonder where Cadillac's going to step in.
When you were saying you had your Caddy shirt on, I instantly was like, we're talking about a racing article today. I don't recall seeing Caddy in that class announcement. We have some time before this obviously starts, so I'm wondering a bit if we're going to see more people join this category.
Well, I'm just going to do a Cadillac LMDH. And so they said that the regulations have caught their attention. So apparently in their growth program, and this is from US Motorsport, they're saying here, and I can just pop this up really quick because I knew it was something that was probably worthwhile digging into. They have caught their attention, and they're saying that the company is currently evaluating the continuation of the Cadillac program into IMSA's LMDH era. So now, but here's the other challenges that I'd say that right off the bat, I think we could talk about the fact that Porsche does have a hybrid drivetrain vehicle out there that's in the performance category, right? That's not going to be hard for them to do. Audi, if Porsche has it, Audi has it, right?
Yeah.
I imagine others like Mazda are not going to have too much of a problem making this happen. But I would say that the one company right now that I think that comes to mind that doesn't have anything in the hybrid category is Cadillac.
Yeah, we know Toyota got one too, so.
Yeah. So that's real interesting.
Maybe they'll stay in a lower category.
It would be funny. Look, and we've always said it the same thing, that Cadillacs always sound great. The GM, when they recommitted themselves to making Cadillac a forerunner at Daytona, they really did not hold anything back. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting though. To me, I can't wait to see a paddock filled with Acura, Audi, Porsche. Look, and even if Audi and Porsche are racing against each other, they're probably what's underneath the cars is going to be almost identical, because that's how they usually do things, because they are from the same manufacturer, so to speak, right? So let's see what happens. And I want sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's just I'm looking at other stuff, and I know I wanted to look it up before I said anything, but I know they're they're restructuring other classes too. GT is getting a restructure too. So I mean, there's we know that Caddy is going to be in GT unless something crazy happens.
Right.
But whether they get into LMDH, we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. So, hey guys, everybody that's out there watching, let us know what you think in the comments below. And if there's something else that you know, some insider information, and you want to join the discussion, please, by all means, like, subscribe, follow, and leave us a comment below and let us know what you think. And with that said, let's move on to the next topic.
Sure.
Hey.
Cool. Yeah, I can take it off here. So next one, we're gonna head off to space. We're gonna pick up the Dream Chaser article.
Nice, you could take it off here. I see what you did there.
I'm gonna take off.
I see what you did.
There you go. Yeah. So anyway, being that we're in we live kind of near the Space Coast, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, we like to cover a lot of rocket launches, anything going on really over here on the Space Coast. We'd love to come over and check out. So one of the things that kind of caught my eye was when I found this article that says the private aircraft space plane called the Dream Chaser is set to land on NASA's former shuttle runway, or Kilo Tango Tango Sierra, or KTTS, over there on the Space Coast. And that's, again, if you ever saw any shuttle landings back in the day on TV, when the shuttle came down, night or daytime, you'd see it land just gliding, right? Because it's effectively a big glider. And you'd see it landing on this quite long runway over on the Space Coast. This is the same runway. So that runway's been used for various other things since the end of the shuttle program, everything from companies renting it out to test supercars and hypercars. But one thing they've been wanting to do, of course, is get some more space planes back in there. And the Dream Chaser is exactly like that. So Mike's got the article up there. And so basically it's set that it's set to, well, it's 15,000 foot long runway. And again, that was housing for 78 shuttle landings back in the day. And they're set to land the Dream Chaser here. So Sierra Nevada operates this aircraft as well. And this aircraft, along with some other space planes like the X-37B, if you guys have heard that one too, some of the missions these aircraft run are not public. So there's some cool stuff going on. We could hope for sure. So not all of the missions were even aware of what's going on with them, but it is cool to see that, again, that the runway, the airport, is getting some more love there, and that it's not going anywhere. As you know, obviously there's plenty of shuttle launches going on, and while the shuttles don't use the landing strip, it's nice to see that the other space-based operations are going to be using it. When Elon and those people fly in, they probably land over there a lot of times. Well, most of the time they would land over there. But anyway, there you go. So the Dream Chaser, and I know I have also heard actually that I mentioned it, X-37B also does operations here as well, or will do in the future. So, yep. Yeah, man. Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
Sorry. So anyhow, I was saying is, also what they do out of KTTS is they also Tesla uses that as part of, they do some high speed tests because the runway is so long there. It's almost 2.5 miles long. And the other car manufacturers have gone out there and do speed tests out there before to see what their top speeds are in their quarter-mile runs. However, sorry, more fascinating is the Dream Chaser itself, right? As it appears to be the baby shuttle. The fact that it's going to actually join in with SpaceX to resupplying the space station is a big win for them. And it's pretty massive, okay? Exciting for them nonetheless. And the fact that it's going to be reusable and coming back, which means I hope we're going to hear a couple more sonic booms now.
That'd be cool.
That would be really
that'd
neat.
Be super cool. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's something that we can look forward to in the future, because hey, this is space, man. And right now, just about everybody that can jump in the game is kind of throwing their hat into the ring. But Dream Chaser they've been around for what, 8 years as a concept?
It's not a new program.
No.
I know a lot of the actual aerodynamics of the shape of the Dream Chaser originated from the shuttle program.
Sure, yeah.
So it's been around a while. I'd have to look up exactly how old the design is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that off the top of my head, but let's a quick search.
It's interesting because the picture that they have here, it's kind of the Sierra Nevada Corporation. It says right here, Sierra Nevada's Dream Chaser space plane shown here in the inflatable version, which we'll use.
Oh, is it? Wow,
yeah, it's actually inflatable.
Nice.
And I was like looking at the wing, and I was like, yeah, that looks. But hey, had me fooled for a minute. That's kind of really cool. But the
Yeah,
other
pretty cool.
pictures now, I think the original pictures that I've seen of this actual aircraft, you could actually see the cabin, but this one seems to have a fully blanketed midsection, which looks like it's no longer manned, which means it's just going to be the unmanned cargo version, which pretty cool. So,
Hmm.
but to hear that it's going to come to KTTS, it's going to land on the old shuttle landing facilities is fantastic. Good for them.
It looks like it was originally announced back in 2004, so it is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
old. It's
It
that
has been a
old,
bit.
right?
Yeah, that's when it was first announced. Back then, operated or partnered with United Launch Alliance for the possibility to go up on Atlas V, and then
Hmm.
of course a whole bunch of stuff's happened since then. But yeah, that's when it was first announced.
Who's the delivery system? What are they using for engines for it now?
Let's
'Cause
see
it's
what
not
the
going up on a
latest.
Falcon, right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's going up on a Falcon.
I think it's still going up on Atlas V. Yeah, that's yeah, yeah,
Really?
this yeah.
Because hey, 2008, Brad says he thinks that's what he remembered, but it looks like it's
2008 for Dream
2004.
Chaser. Yeah, I know. I just looked it up that it was announced 2004, but yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
Sierra Nevada acquired Dream Chaser in 2008, so that'd be the
That
main
would be
one, yeah.
the acquisition date. Gotcha.
And welcome back, Brad. Good to see you.
Good evening, Brad.
Good
All
to see
right.
you. Good to see you.
Well, cool. Let's. I wish the Dream Chaser team
Yeah, there you go.
luck. I mean, it's pretty cool, and I look forward to seeing that thing come flying out of the sky.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Leading into something else.
Yeah, actually, that's perfect for you. Take it away, man. Take it
Yeah.
away.
So,
So thanks for all that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much. It helps us expand our abilities to bring you content, and we like doing on-site stuff, and then articles for you like this, and then of course the live rocket launches. So thanks again for all the support, and yeah, thanks.
sure. Okay. So I'm going to take this one step further. In the old annals of what goes up must come down. Literally. This is coming from Newsweek. There's been photos taken right now of the Chinese rocket that is falling out of orbit before it crashes to Earth. And before we get too cynical about some things, let's remember one thing. There's such a thing when you launch a rocket, there's no such thing as escape altitude, it's escape velocity. That means that something has to be going very, very fast in order for it to maintain its orbit around the planet. China has a Long March 5B rocket that has been falling back into space for about the last 4 days now. And no one's really sure where it's going to go, and they've been kind of mum on where this thing could possibly land. However, Italy-based Virtual Telescope Project snapped an image of it on Wednesday night using a Planewave 17-inch telescope. And they said that the rocket was moving extremely fast, which it would be known to have to do in order to maintain orbit. Right now, if anyone has any concept of that, the space station right now, I think, is going, 17,000 times the speed of sound up there or something like that? Something ridiculous. 17
Orbits
times.
at 25,000 miles per hour.
Yeah,
something like that.
25,000 miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
So they said it was, right now the rocket's about 700 kilometers from Earth, and they're not really sure when it's going to impact, but I think the money is right now that they're saying it's about 100 feet in length, and they're expecting on Saturday, May 8th, for this thing to deorbit. So, okay, so here's the thing. They're saying that it's not going to kind of deorbit itself, but there's a lot of mystery as to what's going on because let's say the people that put it up there haven't been as forthcoming with the scientific community as what the dangers and the risks about where it's going to come down, which, come on, man. I mean, you got to have a little bit more caution when you put things up there because you don't know where they're going to come down,
Yeah, and I mean, kind of getting my 2 cents in here. One thing to understand is there's a lot of stuff up there. There's a lot of space junk up there. It tags right into the thing we talked about just yesterday with the automated robotic satellite from we just talked about yesterday, but the satellite that can help either clear space junk or repair or refuel even sometimes satellites up there. So we're already tracking thousands of objects up in space.
Of course,
from small objects to bigger objects. But one thing also I wanted to point out too that is actually a lot of stuff does deorbit and burns up in the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's something to maybe point out that a lot of things that go up are either designed so that they will burn up in the atmosphere, whether they're what they're composed of or the size, how much mass there is, because as everything slows down and then falls back into the atmosphere, friction and all that, and it heats up, and then they just end up evaporating or disintegrating, right? So,
Right.
um, but the fact that it's a pretty large piece of this, I think it's first stage,
Yeah, first stage,
right?
100 feet. 100 feet long.
That it's not expected to go away, of course, all of it. So yeah, and
No.
of course the second half, of course, they don't know where it's going to go. So that's the tongue in cheek, like, okay, well, I mean, all right.
So,
So
but also
okay.
to add to that, we probably live in an area of the world which probably experiences the most shooting stars anywhere. And when I say that, it's also because you got to remember there's bolts, there's little pieces of different aircraft that have made it to trajectories just off the coast here from how many things have been launched that
Yeah,
occasionally just deorbit, right? And they're small pieces, they're relatively
yeah,
harmless. And but we're not talking about 100-foot section of rocket that was
of
obviously,
course, of course.
just like you're saying, not this massive core that we have to worry about coming back to Earth, which plays right into the movie that I was talking to you about last night, Until the End of the World, because it dealt with something just like this, except it's not nuclear and so on and so forth. But it is interesting because when I saw this article, I was like, it actually is happening, and deorbiting stuff is going to be a concern. That dovetails right into what Corey was talking about last night with the other deorbiting possible solution of the
Yeah, I don't know
auto
why I can't think
satellite.
of that.
Huh?
I don't know why I can't think of that. I don't know why I can't think of that company. We just talked about it yesterday,
Grumman?
but
Was it
yeah.
Grumman? Northrop
Yeah,
Grumman?
it
Yeah,
was Grumman.
it
Yeah,
was Grumman.
Grumman, and they were saying, yeah, in 2025 and then on, they're going to have plans to have the robotic. Well, it's not a satellite, but have the robot that they've launched up there be able to not only help repair satellites and then possibly refit them, but also take care of space junk as well. So
Well,
yeah,
looks like they missed their first customer because this could be a perfect addition to the family to deorbit. But hey, folks, look, it's not to make fun of anything in specific. It's just in the scientific community, you would hope, right? One would hope that you would take a little bit more care to understand that everyone that puts something into space, you do have a regard for the rest of the planet as to what this could mean for everyone on board, not just those involved in their space programs. So yes, it's tongue in cheek, and we know it's not necessarily nice to pick on people, but damn, if you're going to put it up there, you should probably let everybody know where it's coming down. Just saying. And they're saying that right
yeah,
now, the other part of it is that they're saying that they're really not going to know where it's going to de-entry until about 3 to 4 hours before it starts its final trajectory back towards
yeah.
to Earth on the 8th. So let's just hope we're all safe.
Yeah, and we know, I mean, and we know that the ocean covers about 70% of the planet. So, I mean, sure, I get it, but still, it's something we thought you might want to know about.
Yeah, there you go. So if you see something strange burning through the sky that explodes over your town late at night, probably a March long rocket launched from China. Just saying.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Could
Yeah,
be. Could be.
there
Could
have
be.
been those crazy meteors that come down and explode
Could be that
that are quite
too.
interesting to read about. But yeah, but there is
Likelihood
a rocket
is
up there that's
this
what?
time. This time the likelihood is it's probably a Chinese rocket. Just saying. Could be. I'll put 75% chance on that. How's that? Are we allowed to say that? Could we? Sure. Why not? Right? It's our show. We
Sure,
can say
why
what we
not?
want.
Yeah, we're not fact checking anything. Sure, why not?
So, hey, and if you happen to see it, you get some great footage of it, like, subscribe, follow, and share the footage with us because we'd like to see that stuff too. I'm sure if it goes off the coast someplace in the middle of nowhere, we won't see anything about it, but maybe if somebody gets some great footage of it. So, with that said, I'm going to hand it back to Corey because why not?
Sure, sure. Because why not?
Because why
Okay, cool.
not?
So this next one, the next one I'll talk about is from the Air Force, and it was an announcement that they just made. It's been a few days, but I wanted to. Well, I guess it's only been one day. It was yesterday. But the Air Force awards the first airworthiness approval for human flight in an electronic aircraft program, and this dovetails into something we talked about before.
Yes.
It's called the Agility Prime program, which is something that the Air Force is working with industry, a commercial industry, to really kick off the eVTOL, let's say, innovation,
Mm-hmm.
so that obviously that the military can benefit, but then also the public will get some of the benefit of that later. And what was kind of interesting about this too, obviously, is the first thing, the title that they're awarded a airworthiness approval. And remember, we mentioned something about this before, even the airworthiness part, and mentioned that it's kind of like provisional airworthiness, not like full airworthiness that the FAA would issue,
Right.
but something where the testing can take place on with the military personnel. But then reading through the article, I wanted to point out that the aircraft in question is the Beta Aviation ALIA aircraft. And I know Mike can bring maybe a picture of that too
I
over there.
can.
But we also talked about this specific project before.
Yep.
And at the time, we had researched and found that mainly they had done it's not particularly an eVTOL yet.
No.
They definitely have plans to do eVTOL, and it's one of these ones with pylons and almost like a airplane slash quad design, so that the rotors that will provide the eVTOL function are in kind of the corners.
Yes.
But at the time that we talked about it, and for now too, they haven't integrated the vertical takeoff and landing component.
No, they have
And
not.
so I think that first picture there is got just maybe some renders,
Yes.
or maybe some taxi tests or something like that. And so it's something I know Mike and I are talking about too. That it's interesting that there's other players in the eVTOL market, names you'd know of course, Joby and Volocopter and other things like that. But that they wanted to pick something like this, and we just wanted to kind of figure out more about it too. So
All right, so I have to ask you a question.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, have at it.
If you look at what's on the screen right now that I'm sharing, right? This is the pusher version of the ALIA aircraft, that the ALIA Beta that we know had done its successful test flight from where it was created to another airport. However, right, if you look at the article from the Air Force one and you take a look at what's going on here, this cabin, this simulator that it looks like is pictured in here, looks like that is the ALIA aircraft cabin in some sort of simulator.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I could see that now, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a second!" And it's funny that I could see underneath it there's a dolly, a mechanic's dolly
creepy crawly.
creepy crawly thing underneath the bottom. So it looks like they probably have some sort of beta simulators that the military and the Air Force are using at this point that are getting used in conjunction with what they're about to develop. And that's just a keen eye I was just looking at. I was like, So somewhere in Ohio, they must have the first ALIA simulator as well in this project.
Yeah, I wonder. We talked about kind of things like this before, like what kind of pilots would you need, and we speculated, dual-rated pilots,
Right.
similar to those that would fly like tilt rotors, Ospreys, and whatnot, would be the best candidates for civilian, but also military pilots to fly these VTOL type airplane and vertical takeoff aircraft. And yeah, obviously, to have a simulator like that being way ahead of the curve makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
I wonder what we haven't seen of the Agility Prime program yet that could exist, and what ALIA and their beta program actually might have accomplished that maybe the military has some insights on, but maybe the general public hasn't seen yet. And if they're a little further along in their airworthiness, because in part of our previous discussions about, say, JetUpterra, who have also gotten contracts that they're developing their FPS or fluidic propulsion system, which is known to have gone through the testing of both, I think it was the Air Force and the Army. Yep. And they're at 50% of the average noise rating of anything else in class. I wonder what else we don't know about JetUpterra that's also in that, because I've got my money pinned on them because they are also coming from the military route. So interesting.
Yeah, I know we're keeping a close eye on JetUpterra because we are favorable to the design and some of the specifications performance. But also I wanted to point out too, again, with this ALIA award, if you go down the article, it mentions things we've also talked about before. Previous and growing customer list that ALIA also has, or not ALIA, but Beta Technologies for the ALIA, with also Blade and UPS. I know we talked about both of these things before too, and it kind of maybe dovetails exactly what you just mentioned. Maybe we're just not seeing all of what ALIA is doing already.
Correct. Right.
Because these are big players. These are big players, and yeah, I just would imagine that they're further along than they want anybody to know about, possibly.
And look, and it begs the question, right? like everything, and this is where I guess we're not gonna know, right? We're not gonna know the difference because in this marketplace, the air taxi marketplace, these companies that are trying to break in, obviously they've probably shown something to a great deal of a level of investors that gives them confidence, right? Because
Yeah.
we're not talking about a Jobby here, we're not talking about other companies, we're talking about this one, Aaliyah, which is nailing some pretty good benchmarks for themselves to have to live up to,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and great, again. As with most of these things, except if you're a Chinese rocket falling out of the sky, I wish you good luck because it's at that level, it's just one of those things.
Hey,
I'd
bada
like you to
bing.
be successful because it benefits us all. That's all. That's
Mhm.
all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So hey, but I think that's all we've got for today. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's the main stuff. I just, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I'm just trying to see if I can find anything else about Aaliyah as we've just been talking about this, but
Nothing.
nothing new. I can't find anything new stuff past what we've already spoken about.
Gotcha. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this week, and I think next week are we still on nights for next week as well?
I think so, yeah.
We
Yeah.
are. So it's gonna be Monday. I think we're gonna have to devise a little different. I think we're gonna be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday next week is what we're
Okay.
gonna be, if that works.
I think so.
We'll talk.
Yeah, I think so.
So and that will be that. So hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's been another lovely get together. Remember, if there's anything that you guys think we've got wrong or want to talk about, leave a comment below in the video and let us know what you think, and we'll be sure to hit you up because that's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Much appreciated. Thanks again. As Mike said, like, share, subscribe. Helps us out. And yeah, take it easy and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
We should do the old kiss that they used to do on the old dating game or something, like bah.
Oh, before we
Before we
sign
just
off. cut to the music?
I'm just actually making shit up. We shouldn't do that at all.
Bye, Brad. Bye.
Bye. See ya. All right, take care.
Bye.
Peace out. Bye.